Hey everyone, it's me Tim, and today we're going to talk about my favorite 10 apps for motorcycle travel. These are things that help me plot out routes, find places to sleep, or keep track of the weather. We're going to get into it right after this. So I'm going to talk about the apps I use for route planning, what I use to find places to sleep, track weather and storms that might be blowing in around me, and a few other things that are kind of maybe not necessarily super obvious, but some apps that are really helpful with different aspects of travel that have really helped me out a lot and made my trips much better. So app number one, I was actually using in the previous video, so I talked about it then. I'm just going to touch on it briefly. It's Accuweather. This is to date still my favorite app for tracking weather. It gives you minute-to-minute updates on predictions for rain, and it just seems to be very accurate. It's a great name for it. I have a lot of luck with this, so I use this to check, where there's storms blowing in. Look at the map, and the radar will show you, a prediction of where the storm is moving, and I can kind of plot my route around it, try to avoid it as best I can. There's a lot of weather apps. This just happens to be my personal favorite. The next app I use is called iOverlander, and this is one I've just been getting into this year and kind of playing around with. I heard about it at Overland Expo East. I heard people talking about it. I downloaded it, decided to see what it was all about, and it's kind of like freecampsites.net, where it will tell you places that people have found they can camp for free. I will say the one downside to this app is that it does seem more geared towards people in an enclosed vehicle. In other words, there's a lot of recommendations for, hey, you can camp at this Walmart, you can park in their parking lot and stealth camp in a van or, a Sprinter or something like that, which doesn't necessarily work on a motorcycle. However, at least it will point you in the direction of some places that are known free campsites. Something I like to do when I find a known free campsite too is maybe not stay in that exact spot because other people are using the same app and are likely to end up there. But once you get into an area where you can free camp, I kind of venture off and find something that wasn't necessarily in the app, and I use that to get me in the right area. And I have definitely found some campsites using that app. Another app that I use for route planning is called Osmond. And this one will allow you to view GPX files that is like predetermined routes for your GPS, things like BDRs or other things like that. I also like it because you can download offline maps with Osmond, which is super helpful, especially if you're doing something like a BDR. Chances are you're not going to have great cell phone service to be constantly reloading the map. It's nice to have those saved offline. So this next one is not a route planning app, and this is a little more obscure, but an app that I've been using a ton in my travels this year and last year as well. It's called Audible. Audible is a subscription-based plan where you can download audiobooks, which I listen to on the bike, or sometimes if I'm just hanging out around camp by myself, I'll listen to an audiobook, and it kind of keeps me company around camp, or just gives something to kind of occupy my mind if I'm a little bored. Other than Audible, I also use apps like Castbox or Spotify. Castbox I use for podcasts, and Spotify for music, also Pandora. There's quite a few apps you can use for entertainment. Okay, the next one. Now, one of the most common questions I've gotten as far as my route planning and how I go about doing that, this is probably going to disappoint some of you, is Google Maps. It seems obvious, and I know a lot of people kind of overlook this one because it seems too obvious and too easy, and I think we kind of expect like, oh, there's got to be something better, but I gotta say Google Maps has really nailed it, in my opinion at least, and especially the fact that it's connected to Google. A lot of times what I'm doing is, I'll look for what is the best restaurant in the area, and I'm looking on Google, and okay, I find the one I want to go to, I just click a button and it goes right to the map. Same thing with places to sleep, campgrounds, hotels. I can look at hotels and see all the prices, and then just click the one I want to go to. I have my GPS automatically set to avoid tolls, avoid highways, and it just takes me a nice route. I mean, it's not necessarily the best possible route, but you can use it for plotting out a specific route too. Say, you want to take one specific road to take that to, another road, and you're going to take a right there and a left here. You can plot that out in Google Maps and then just follow your route throughout the day. So it seems obvious and it seems too easy, but to me It's a really great option for route planning, and it works really well for me. It's my go-to app anytime I'm getting ready to plot out a route for the day. Okay, getting off routes and getting away from the route planning apps. This is another app I've been using this year that is really cool, and I think a lot of you are going to appreciate this. It's called TOUCHNOTE, and essentially what it is you can take a picture on your phone and you put it into the app, and you can turn that into a customized postcard where they'll print it out, write your message on the back of it, and send it to whoever you want. This is a really cool way to keep in touch with your family and friends while you're gone, and it's just a neat little, it's different than sending, a postcard that you picked up somewhere, which was also really nice, but it's a picture of you, maybe say in front of some beautiful scenery with your motorcycle in the background. You can turn that into a postcard, and you don't have to go to the post office and get stamps and all of that. You literally just push a button, TOUCHNOTE takes care of the rest, and it'll send a postcard to anybody you want. And I just think it's a pretty cool thing. It's a way to kind of pull your family into the trip, or your friends and family into the trip with you as you're out there on the road. Okay, app number 7. Now this one is a little bit different. This one might kind of surprise you, but it's one that I've used quite a bit while traveling around, and that is the Amazon shopping app. Maybe one of my pieces of gear is just worn out and needs to be replaced, or, I need a new shirt. Maybe I wore out one of them. Whatever it is, even parts for the bike. I'll order oil filters for my bike off of Amazon. Now the trick here is that you don't need the Amazon app to do this, but what I'll use is their locker delivery option. So in other words, I can order whatever I want, find out where I'm going to be in the next, say 2 days or 3 days. Where am I going to be near, sort of a bigger city, or, not out in the middle of nowhere, let's say. And I'll have it delivered to a locker, and then I just go and pick it up. And it's super easy. I don't have to chase down, who has this specific oil filter, or who has this piece of camping equipment that I need. It's just jump on the app, figure out what I need, push order, and that's it. It's sitting in a locker wherever I happen to be, and I can go pick it up. It's super, super convenient. Okay, app number 8 is called OnX Offroad. This is one I'm still playing around with the free version of, which is kind of limited, but you can see the temps on the map, which I really like. Also, you can download offline maps, you can track your route. It shows you national forests, state land, reservations, and conservation areas. All super helpful when you're looking for a place to sleep at night. I've used that aspect. The temperatures on the map I kind of like, because if I'm getting in an area where there's mountains, maybe it's a little bit cooler, I want to make sure I'm not heading towards an area where it's going to be really cold at night as I'm finding a place to camp. So I like looking at the temperatures on the map, but also it's really cool if you're not sure, am I on public land right now, or is this private property? You're able to look at the map and it's all just lined up for you. This is a state forest, this is a national forest, this is BLM land, and it makes finding a place to sleep so much easier. At least when you're winging it, right? This is when you're not using one of those apps that will tell you, hey, this is a known free camping site. You're able to kind of get away from those apps that everybody's using and figure it out for yourself. So that's pretty cool. So I do have to take a quick second and talk about an event that's coming up, put on by one of my sponsors, Altrider. It's a super exciting event called Taste of Dakar. It's taking place April 16th to 19th in Gold Point, Nevada. The event includes GPS routes, meals, and snacks for the weekend, and entertainment. They've been out there pre-running the routes, and it looks like they've put together some really awesome rides, ranging from beginner to intermediate and even advanced. It looks like an awesome event. I'm not sure if I'm going to be back from Mexico in time, but you guys should go check it out. And if you do happen to purchase a ticket, make sure you put 40X around in the customer comments to let them know I sent you. Okay, back into the apps. The next one is an app that I use quite frequently to find a place to sleep, and that is Priceline. I'll use this to find hotels and motels and just cheap places to sleep inside. One thing I like about committing to one specific app, whether it be Orbitz or Priceline or whatever, I just happen to prefer Priceline. It just seems to work best for me. Priceline will kind of start to favor you as you use their app more and more and more. So say you're getting, one hotel a week on your 5-week trip. Every week when you get a hotel, they're going to show you better and better prices because they want you to keep coming back and using their app. I've had a lot of luck with Priceline. Their reviews seem to be pretty accurate. Their prices are very competitive, and even when I've had issues, they have been there in my corner to help back me up. I've had issues where, I had problems with a certain hotel. They weren't going to give me a refund, even though I wasn't staying there. I called Priceline, got them on the phone. They called the manager of the hotel. They took care of the whole thing. Because sometimes, especially when you're like me and you're traveling on a budget, you end up at some hotels that aren't so great and are a little bit shady. I didn't want to stay at a place like that, and it was really hard to get them to give me a refund. And I'm so grateful that Priceline was able to step in and be that third party, because I don't really have that kind of extra money to be wasting on hotels I'm not even sleeping in. So Priceline works for me, but there are a lot of other options. Okay, so app number 10 is the newest collection to the apps on my phone that I use for travel. And it's kind of a new app, so some of the features are somewhat limited, but it is super helpful if you're looking for interesting things to do or see. It's called a Pocket Atlas of the Obscure. Essentially, it's a map-based application that pretty much is based off of the website Atlas Obscura. So it's going to help you find a lot of neat roadside attractions, kind of quirky, offbeat things. Sometimes we want to do something that kind of shakes things up a little bit. Atlas Obscura, or this app, which essentially is a map of Atlas Obscura and all of their different waypoints, is a pretty cool way to shake things up. So for example, let's take a look at Arizona, and we'll just zoom in a little bit here. Let's see what's just south of Tucson. Okay. Here we have the ASARCO Mission Mine and Mineral Discovery Center, one of the largest open pit copper mining operations in the entire country. Might be something you have interest in seeing. Here's the Titan Missile Museum, America's only nuclear missile silo open to the public. That is pretty cool. I-19, America's only metric interstate. After a short-lived attempt to bring America in line with the rest of the world, this road was left metric. I did not even know that existed in Arizona, and I had lived there for quite a few years. So it's pretty cool. Just some interesting, different kind of things to go see. At least give you an idea of what's in the area. Of course, it's always cool when you stumble upon these things without knowing they're there, but maybe there's certain ones that you would be sad or upset that you missed if you got home from your trip and realized, wow, I didn't even know that was there. Anyways, those are the 10 apps I use for travel most frequently. They've come in really handy for me, so hopefully they help you guys out too. That is it for today. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Ride safe.